I inherited my grandma's doll collection, but one doll started moving on its own. And it hated me. What if the thing you thought was just a toy had a mind of its own, and it wanted you gone? And it wanted you gone? Welcome to Friday 13, where every story is real, and this one's mine. I'm Nathan, and this happened to me in 2021, in my grandma's old house in Salem, Massachusetts. I've got the photos, the journal entries, the nightmares. Stay with me, because what I found out about that doll, it's still out there, waiting for someone else to inherit it. It all started in October 2021. My grandma had passed away a few months earlier, and I'd inherited her house in Salem, a creaky, old Victorian, filled with dusty antiques and memories. I was 28, between jobs, and thought fixing up the place might be a good project. Grandma had always been a collector, porcelain dolls, mostly, with glassy eyes and faded dresses. I'd never liked them as a kid. They always seemed to watch me, their little faces too still, too perfect. But now, they were mine, along with the house. I remember the day I found the collection. It was a rainy afternoon, the kind where the sky looks like it's bruised, and I was cleaning out the attic, sorting through boxes of old clothes, yellowed letters, and tarnished silverware. The attic smelled of mildew and time. 9. The air thick with dust that danced in the slivers of light coming through the cracked window. That's when I saw it, a shelf in the corner, tucked under the eaves, lined with dolls. Their faces were pale, their expressions frozen, like they were waiting for something. One stood out, a small Victorian-era doll with curly blonde hair, a lace dress that was yellowed at the edges, and eyes that was yellowed at the edges, and eyes that seemed too lifelike, too blue, like they could see right through me. Its porcelain skin was cracked around the edges, giving it a fragile, eerie look. Its name was stitched on the hem of the dress in faded red thread. Lily. I picked it up, and a chill ran down my spine. The air in the attic felt colder, heavier, like a storm was brewing inside the room. I told myself it was just the drafty attic, the rain outside, but deep down, I knew something was off. I set Lily back on the shelf, my fingers lingering on her cold porcelain face, for a moment too long. I couldn't shake the feeling that she was watching me, even as I turned away to sort through more boxes. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing creaks, like footsteps on the old wooden floors of the house. I'd get up, check the hallways, the stairs. Nothing. Just the wind, I thought. But the creaks were too rhythmic, too deliberate, like someone was pacing, waiting for me to come find them. The next morning, I found Lily sitting on the kitchen table. I'd left her in the attic, I was sure of it. I'd even locked the attic behind me. My heart skipped a beat behind me. My heart skipped a beat. Had I moved her and forgotten? I laughed, nervous, hollow, trying to convince myself it was stress, grief, maybe a mix of both. But my hands shook as I carried her back upstairs, placing her on the shelf with the others. I whispered, "Stay put," like she could hear me. I wish I'd known then what I was dealing with. A few days later, it happened again. I woke up to a faint giggle, high-pitched and childlike, echoing through the house. My eyes snapped open, and there she was. My eyes snapped open, and there she was. Lily, on my bedside table, her head turned toward me, those glassy blue eyes staring right into mine. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. This time, I knew I hadn't moved her. My stomach churned. Was someone in the house? I checked every lock, every window. Secure. I even tore the place apart, looking for signs of an intruder. Nothing. Just me, the dolls, and the creaking house. I set up a camera in the attic, thinking maybe a neighbor's kid was sneaking in. Playing a cruel prank. I pointed it at the shelf, hit record, and went to bed. That night, I heard the creaks again, louder, closer, like they were coming from the ceiling above my bedroom. I checked the footage the next morning, heart pounding. At 3 a.m., the doll's head turned slowly, deliberately, toward the camera. No one was there. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a prank. The doll moved on its own. I tried to rationalize it. Old houses settle. Maybe the shelf shifted. Old houses settle. Maybe it was a trick of the light. But the footage, it was clear as day. The doll moved, and those eyes, they seemed to gleam, like they were alive. I started avoiding the attic after that. Kept the door locked, even nailed a board across it for good measure. But the creaks didn't stop. They got louder, more insistent, like someone or something was pacing above me, angry that I'd locked it away. Then the giggles started. Faint at first, barely audible, like a child laughing in another room. They'd echo through the vents at night, waking me up, my heart racing. I'd search the house, nothing. I told myself it was the pipes, the wind, anything but what I feared. But the giggles grew louder, more frequent, sometimes turning into whispers. "Ethan, play with me." Soft, pleading, then sharp, angry. I'd wake up sweating, the whispers still ringing in my ears. One morning I rolled up my sleeve and saw them. Scratches on my arm, 3 thin lines. Like fingernails had dragged across my skin. I hadn't done it. I knew who had. My hands shook as I stared at the marks, the reality sinking in. This wasn't just a doll. It was something else. Something that wanted me gone. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I went back to the attic, pried the board off the door, and started digging through Grandma's things for answers. She had a journal where she cataloged her collection, and I found an entry about Lily, acquired in 1965 from an estate sale. She wrote, "Acquired in 1965 from an estate sale," she wrote. Previous owner claimed it was cursed, said it moved on its own. Silly superstition. But the pages after that were torn out, like someone didn't want the rest to be read. My throat tightened. Cursed? I laughed, nervous, hollow, but the giggle echoed again from the shelf behind me. I wasn't alone. Night after night, the activity got worse. I'd find Lily in different rooms. On the couch one morning, in the hallway the next, once even in my bed, her cold porcelain hand resting on my pillow. Her eyes seemed to follow me, always watching, always waiting. I tried locking her in a trunk, but the next morning, the trunk was open, and she was back on the shelf, her head tilted like she was mocking me. I stopped sleeping, my nerves frayed, my reflection in the mirror looking more hollow each day. The whispers grew louder. "Ethan, play with me. Ethan, play with me." And sometimes they'd turn into a hiss. "Get out." I'd wait to find scratches on the walls, the floors, my skin. Always 3 lines, always fresh. I started carrying a knife, checking corners, jumping at every creak. I was losing it, but I couldn't leave. Not yet. I had to know what she was, why she hated me. I called a friend, Mike, a paranormal investigator I'd met at a convention years back. He came over, set up cameras, EMF readers, the works. We stayed up, watching the attic feed. At midnight, the temperature dropped. 10 degrees in seconds. The EMF spiked, going wild. On the camera, we saw it. Lily's head turning, her arm lifting, pointing at me. Mike went pale. "This isn't normal," he whispered. "This is malevolent." I swallowed hard. Malevolent? What did that mean for me? That night, I heard the hum again. Louder, angrier. A lullaby, twisted into something sinister. It was coming from the attic. I grabbed the baseball bat, stormed up the stairs. The hum grew deafening, flying through the stairs. The hum grew deafening, vibrating through the floor. I pushed open the door, and there she was. Lily, standing in the center of the room, her tiny porcelain body upright. Her eyes were black, her smile twisted, jagged. "Leave me alone," I shouted. She giggled, shrill, mocking. I swung the bat, missed. She was back on the shelf, unmoving, but the air, it was suffocating, pressing down on me like a weight. I knew she wasn't done. I had to know more. I went back to Grandma's journal, searched for any clue. That's when I found it, a letter tucked between the pages. That's when I found it, a letter tucked between the pages, dated 1965. It was from the estate sale owner. Beware the doll named Lily. It belonged to my daughter, who passed tragically. She swore Lily spoke to her, told her to do things. After her death, the doll moved on its own. I beg you, destroy it. My hands shook. Destroy it. Grandma hadn't. She'd kept it, thinking it was just a story. But now, I knew, it wasn't. I researched the family. The daughter, Clara, had died in 1964. Fall from the attic window of their home in Salem. The official report called it an accident, but locals whispered she'd been pushed by something unseen. My stomach dropped. Was Lily involved? Was Lily involved? Was Clara's spirit trapped in the doll? Or was it something darker, something that had taken her form? War. I contacted a local historian, Mrs. Hargrove, who'd written about Salem's darker history. She confirmed the story. Clara had been a troubled child. Clara had been a troubled child, claiming a friend in the doll told her to hurt people. Her parents dismissed it until the accident. After Clara's death, the doll was locked away, but strange things happened. Giggles in the night, objects moving, scratches on the walls. The family sold it in 1965 to my grandma. I felt sick. What had I inherited? I dug deeper, found old forum posts. People claiming the doll had been in their families too, always bringing misfortune. One user said their sister died after Lily got mad. Another said they burned the doll, but it reappeared. The next day burned the doll, but it reappeared the next day, untouched. My throat tightened. This wasn't just a ghost. It was something worse. Friday 13 crew. Ever had a family heirloom that felt wrong? Something that followed the next left hand. Something that crew wrong. Something that made your skin crawl. Drop it in the comments. I need to know I'm not alone here. I had to end it. Mike suggested a cleansing ritual. Salt, sage, the whole deal. We set it up in the attic. Salt, sage, the whole deal. We set it up in the attic, surrounded Lily with a circle of salt, lit the sage. The air grew thick, heavy, like a storm brewing inside the room. I started the incantation, my voice shaking. Leave this place, I said, over and over. That's when the lights flickered. The temperature plummeted, my breath fogging in front of me. Lily's head snapped toward me, her eyes black as pitch, her smile stretching wider, jagged. You can't have him, she hissed. A child's voice, but twisted, wrong. I stumbled back. Him, I thought. Me? The room shook, boxes toppling, dust raining down. Mike shouted, "Keep going!" Mike shouted, "Keep going!" I did, chanting louder, the sage smoke burning my eyes. Lily's mouth opened, and she screamed, a piercing, inhuman wail that rattled the windows. The salt circle broke, and she lunged, flew across the room, her tiny hands clawing at my face. I felt her nails, cold, sharp, digging into my cheek. I swung the bat, hit her, porcelain shattered. She fell, silent, her broken pieces scattering across the floor. The air stilled. I gasped, chest heaving. It was over. Or so I thought. But that night, I heard it again. The hum. Faint but clear. My hum, faint but clear, coming from the basement. My blood froze. I destroyed the doll, but the presence, it was still here. I ran to the basement, flashlight trembling. In the corner, a box, old, unmarked, tucked behind a pile of rusted tools. I opened it, my hands shaking. Inside, another doll, identical to Lily, but with a different name stitched on the hem. Clara. My heart stopped. Grandma had two. I'd only destroyed one. I left the house that week. Sold it, didn't look back. I moved to Boston. Sold it, didn't look back. I moved to Boston, got a new job, tried to start over. But the hum follows me. I hear it in my new apartment, in my car, in my dreams. I see her, Clara, in reflections, always watching, always smiling. I've tried to destroy the second doll, but it won't break. I've buried it, burned it, thrown it in the river. Nothing works. She's tied to me now, and I don't know how to escape. I went to a medium last month, desperate. She took one look at the doll and refused. She took one look at the doll and refused to touch it. She's not a child, she said, her voice shaking. Something's using her form. It feeds on fear, and it's not done with you. I left her shop trembling, the doll heavier in my bag than ever. I keep it locked in a safe now, but I hear her at night, scratching, whispering my name. I don't know how much time I have left. Oh, this was real. 2021, Salem, Massachusetts. I've got the footage, the journal, the scars. If you don't believe me, I'll show you, so next time you will. What's real? So, next time you inherit something old, ask yourself, what's really inside it? That's my story. Every detail. Real. Every fear still alive. If you've got a tale of a cursed object, or anything that won't let go, drop it in the comments. I'll read every one. Like if this chilled you, subscribe for more, and share your own. The best ones hit the next video. This is Friday 13. Stay safe. The past doesn't forget.